All right, let's talk about that big assignment, the Islamic Economics Literature Review. I know. It can feel like you're about to climb a mountain. But don't you worry, we're going to break this whole thing down step by step so you can absolutely nail it and write a paper you're proud of.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So glad you're here. Let's dive right in. So here's our game plan. We're going to treat this whole thing like a quest. First, we'll understand the assignment itself. Then we'll get into the practical steps, researching, structuring, writing, and citing. And we'll wrap it all up with a list of common mistakes you'll definitely want to avoid. Ready? Let's go. Okay, first things first. Before you write a single word, you've got to know what a literature review actually is and, just as importantly, what it isn't.
Now listen up, because this is the single most important thing you need to get. A lit review is not, not just a boring list of summaries. This author said this, then this author said that. No way. Think of yourself as a detective or a moderator. You're bringing all these different academic voices, your sources, into one room. Your job is to show how their ideas connect, where they argue, where they agree, and what the whole conversation means. It's all about analysis and synthesis.
And for your Econ 1321 assignment, here is your mission brief, straight up. You get to pick any topic in Islamic economics, which is awesome. But the other stuff, it's not optional. You need at least 12 recent journal articles. The structure is spelled out for you, right down to that mind map, and the formatting is super specific. Pay close attention to that integrity check, too. That Turnitin score has to be under 20%, and we are definitely going to talk about how to make that happen. Okay, mission accepted. Now it's time to gather your gear. And in this case, your gear is high-quality, top-notch academic research.
So, where do you find these golden sources? Google Scholar is your best friend here. You're hunting for two kinds of articles. First, what we call seminal or landmark works. These are the big foundational papers that get cited all the time. You can't ignore them. But you also need the new stuff, the current articles that show what's happening in the field right now. And here's a pro tip for you. Don't just stop at 12. Try to find 20, maybe even 25 sources at first. That way, you can pick the absolute best of the best for your final paper.
All right, this next step, this is where the magic happens. This is what separates an okay paper from a truly great one. It's not just about reading, it's about seeing the connections and piecing it all together. I love this analogy because it's perfect. Every article you read is just one piece of a giant jigsaw puzzle. Your job isn't to hold up each piece and describe it. No, your job is to see how they fit together to create the bigger picture. You're looking for the patterns, the themes, and, this is key, the empty spots where pieces are missing. Those gaps, that's where your own contribution comes in. And hey, your assignment actually gives you a great tool for this, the mind map. Seriously, don't skip this. Get some Post-it notes. As you read, write down a key idea or an author's name on a note. Then start sticking them on a big piece of paper. You can physically move them around, group them together. You'll literally start to see the themes and connections pop out at you. It's an amazing way to visualize the structure of your paper before you even start writing. Want another power tool? Use a synthesis matrix. It sounds fancy, but it's really just a simple chart. Down the side, you list your main themes. Across the top, you list your sources. Then you just fill in the boxes, noting what each author says about each theme. Bam! You've got a bird's eye view of the entire academic conversation right in front of you. It makes writing 1,000 times easier, I promise. Okay, you've done the hard work of synthesizing. You have a blueprint. Now it's time to actually build the house, to write the paper, section by section. Let's start with your intro. It has 3 jobs to do. Job 1, set the scene. Why does this topic even matter? Job 2, be super clear about your purpose. Tell the reader exactly what this review is going to cover. And Job 3, give them a roadmap. Briefly tell them the main themes you'll be discussing. Easy, right? Now for the main body of your paper. Here's a great way to think about it. Imagine you're creating a slide deck for a presentation. Each of your main themes is a major section. And inside that section, every single paragraph is like one slide. It should have one clear point, one main idea, supported by evidence from your sources. Stick to that rule. One paragraph, one point, and your paper will be so much clearer and more powerful. And finally, the conclusion. This is your grand finale. You're going to summarize your key findings one last time. But then, and this is super important, you need to point out the gaps. What don't we know? What questions are still out there? This is where you make your mark by suggesting where future research should go next.
Okay, we've got the structure down. Now let's talk about something that is absolutely non-negotiable, something that can totally make or break your grade: citations and academic integrity. Let's be crystal clear about this. Plagiarism is basically academic theft. It's using someone else's work without giving them credit. It's a huge deal. And remember that assignment requirement? That Turnitin score has to stay below 20%. The only way to guarantee that is by mastering the art of citation.
You've got two main tools to avoid plagiarism: paraphrasing and quoting. You should be paraphrasing like 95% of the time. Paraphrasing means you take someone's idea, you process it in your brain, and then you explain it in your own words and your own sentence structure. It shows you actually understand the material. Quoting, on the other hand, is using their exact words. You should only do this very, very rarely when the way they said something is just so perfect or powerful that you can't change it.
Now let's talk about how you actually do in-text citations in APA style. It's simpler than you think. You basically have two flavors. The first is called narrative, where you weave the author's name right into your sentence. For example, Ali 2024 argued that. The second is parenthetical, where you put the citation in parentheses at the end of the thought, like this: Centurial Medavchinspiedin are growing in popularity, Ali 2024. A good writer mixes both of these to keep the text flowing nicely.
And of course, the grand finale, the references page at the very end. Your assignment demands it be in perfect APA format. That means it's alphabetized by the author's last name. The most important final check: make sure every single source you cited in your paper is on this list, and every source on this list appears somewhere in your paper. They have to match up perfectly.
We are in the home stretch of our quest. Before you hit that submit button, let's just do a quick run-through of the most common traps people fall into.
Here they are, the 7 deadly sins of the literature review. Look familiar? We've touched on all of these: using weak sources, missing the big names, only using old research, just summarizing, going off on tangents, having a messy structure, and of course, plagiarism. Just use this as a final checklist before you turn your work in.
So I want to leave you with this one final thought. Remember that jigsaw puzzle? A great literature review doesn't just show everyone the parts of the puzzle that are already finished. It shines a big, bright spotlight on the empty spaces. This assignment is your chance to find one of those missing pieces and tell the world why it's important. You're not just summarizing research, you're joining the conversation. I really hope this guide helps you tackle your assignment with confidence. Good luck! And hey, if you found this useful, you know what to do. Please subscribe, like, and drop a comment below.